Shaykh Uthman. How you doing, brother? I'm live right now. How you doing?
How you doing?
Say what's up to everyone.
What's up? Brother Uthman.
How you doing?
We just had 8 Shahadas at one time in New York, Union Square.
Yeah.
Allah, you sleep out there. We had 5 together. So
Just today?
Just today. 8 today, 14 or 7 in the last 2 days. But today we had 5 at one time. I think that's the first.
All at once?
All at once.
That's insane.
Yeah, 3 friends and 2 other dudes. Yeah.
What's the plan for the rest of today? We're just getting some food and
Hanging
stuff?
out with you, that's the plan.
Beautiful. Let's do it.
This is one of my old friends, Cass.
Yeah.
One of my good friends.
Old friends.
My name's Uthman. I'm one of his new friends.
Right.
That's not a good sign. He was saying he doesn't have many good friends anymore. I'm happy to find a good one with you guys.
Well, he's not around the shift too much. He should be more around the shift.
You guys take care of my boy. Okay?
This is really like the clashing of all worlds for you, eh? It's so funny.
He's like in 10 years on a completely different stage.
Oh yeah?
And you know, Sneak was all over the world all the time.
I know I worry about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just saying I was in Palestine, in Jerusalem, the Quds, and Masjid Aqsa. Such a beautiful place. You go outside, the birthplace of Jesus is there. You see the Jewish sites there, and you see again, like in Islam, we love Jesus, we love Moses, we love Abraham. And even when we went to Mecca, me and SNEAK0, I was showing him where Abraham stood. You know? So these are like amazing places. You feel relaxed, and especially when I used to go by myself, like I said in Aqsa, I just sat there one day. You know, after the morning Fajr prayer, I was watching the sunrise. I was just thinking, man, you know, David and Moses, all these people, they've been in this place. Like, how beautiful is that? Yeah.
I don't know if Aqsa's it's in Jerusalem, right? Yeah, so that's in Israel. So right now, if we were, you can go, but you're gonna get harassed.
It's in occupied Palestine.
Yeah, correct.
You know, subhanAllah, some of these moments, some people cannot understand it if you're not like, if you've not had a moment like this. Like, you cannot understand that even if you spend everything in this world.
I remember I was talking to SNEAK0.
You cannot have this feeling.
I don't know if he remembers.
Like, when you were sitting at the Haram, for example, that feeling that you had when you're reading the Quran, doesn't matter how much money you can spend. Can you replicate that feeling?
There's nothing that compares. And
But
it's
people
free.
don't understand. They
It's
think
free.
it's cliche to say this, but you don't understand until you actually experience it yourself.
Wait, the feeling of doing what?
Reading the Quran in Masjid Nabawi, like going to the mosque and reading.
It was like one of the most peaceful times.
It's not just that; it's the feeling you get in the experience of being able to read the pages of the Quran in this mosque and everything. And it's an experience that like no money can really buy.
You feel like the angels are descending upon you in that moment, right? Something we believe, because the Masjid al-Haram, the angels are there anyways, and you read in the Quran, which is another reason for angels to be there. It's bringing what we call tranquility, right? Tranquility, absolute peace, absolute.
And what do you mean angels?
Angels, we believe as Muslims in different creation of God.
It's a good kind of jinn
We
though,
believe
right?
in the jinn and we believe angels. Angels are not
Jinn and
jinn.
angel are two different things. Two different
Okay.
lights. Angels are made out of like a pure light. I don't mean light like this kind of light. Just like me and you are made out of the earth, but it doesn't mean that we're dust off, right? But the building block of angels is a beautiful, peaceful light. Yeah, that's why they're obedient. And Muslims, we don't believe there's fallen angels. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, if Gabriel was working for God and then he's like, I'm pissed off, I'm going to the devil, like, how does that work, right? So angels, we believe, are just obedient to God. They do what God says, right?
Yeah.
Let your chat go crazy. And then there is what's called jinn. A lot of these times people talk about possessions, or I saw a ghost. That's actually jinn with their sleep. And
Wait,
there's a lot-
if they see like a goat or something?
Ghost.
Oh, a ghost?
No, not a goat.
I was
well,
kidding.
it
I
might
was
be a
so-
jinn goat.
Okay. Oh, if they see
They see a
ghosts.
goat, they're looking at me.
Oh no, take it back right now. That was a bar.
But okay, so if people see ghosts, and you can see you frequently see jinn in your dreams, right? That's common.
Yeah, but that's not very common. But
That's with like what is it called? Not lucid dreaming, but when you're awake and you can't move.
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis can be for medical reasons as well.
Okay.
So we believe in evidences. Like, so when we have a jinn, for example, I don't want to get too crazy about the jinn stories because you might get freaked out. But
Yeah.
These are the good stories though.
I love hearing these.
the jinn stories are crazy.
But can you guys?
You're looking for trouble, yeah?
Can you guys hear
What's
it?
a gin story? I don't know what that is.
Like demon stories when people get possessed.
You want a mic?
Put them on, yeah.
You want a mic?
Yeah.
I'll get you one.
No, we're fine. The mic's good.
Yeah, I haven't even set up the other mics yet, so.
I got a shotgun.
The audio's good.
Yeah,
The audio's good.
Audio's
That's right.
good.
Yeah, well, that's good.
See,
Yeah, they can hear.
like when you look at Catholics, a lot of times when they have the possessions and when they try to take demons out, somebody ends up dying. Like the story of Emily Rose is an actual story, and she died.
So when they're doing like the what is it called, an exorcism? Yeah.
Power of Christ compels you.
So someone usually dies when that happens.
And the reason for that is the Bible is not the full truth. So when you use it to try to take the jinn out, there is some truth in it which affects the jinn, but it can't come out until somebody dies. And that's why in the story of the Exorcist, which is also based on a true story, the priest died because the jinn jumped at her. And in the story of Emily Rose, which is also true, I think it was Germany or something, she died. In Islam, I have personally, with my own eyes, seen successful jinn exorcisms. And I don't see, there's a difference between, like, I work in the med device industry, so I understand schizophrenia, I understand mental disorders, I understand sometimes it is a mental, like sleep paralysis, sometimes it's because your body is still asleep but your mind's awake, I get that. But there are things that science can't explain sometimes, and I've seen a lot of this. I'll tell you one, I was in Pakistan, and this is something like my own eyes, I'm not talking about some YouTube story or some TikTok or whatever. And one of my teachers, he's a big scholar, somebody said there's a young girl and she has a jinn. So mostly these times it's just depression or something. He said no, like go get her checked out. They were like no, go to the doctors, blah blah. So we went, and the girl was covered up, this Pashtun area, and she was very small, like her stature was very small, like maybe 5'5" at best, maybe 100 pounds, She had like a covering, you couldn't really see her too well, and her family was all there, like her brothers, her cousins, and the sheikh that was there started speaking to her, told her like, look, what's the issue? But she started speaking back in a man's voice.
In a man's voice.
Man, like a straight up.
Like if your eyes were closed, it would have just completely sounded like a man.
There's another story which I told SNEAK0, that was in San Diego. Remember that one?
I remember that one.
That's a crazy one. That one, anyway.
Yeah, let's finish this one first. Yeah.
So this girl started speaking back in Pashtun, my own language, right? Started speaking back like a man. And the sheikh was like, I think you're faking it. Like he told the girl, I think you're faking it. Jinn, the Prophet peace be upon him, said they eat dung and bones. So this is farm area. So it said bring bones, like big old cow bones and dung.
What is dung? Poop?
Poop, bro.
Like,
That's what I thought.
poop.
Yeah, that's what I got it right. Well, I guessed it right.
He's just saying it politely,
Muslims gotta be polite. Maybe.
Yeah.
Right? So we brought it, and this girl took a bite out of it in front of my eyes. like straight up.
And her teeth didn't break. You just
Nothing.
Was she Hindu?
No.
Oh.
Jinn put that, bro. Oh, Muslims out there. But if she was Hindu, she would have worshipped it.
and this is a real bone.
This is her house. It's finished.
Okay.
It's not like a prop, We're not sitting in Hollywood. This is outskirts of Peshawar, right?
No party city.
I mean, I have an idea, but I'm gonna have to make food up. I'm thinking one day, because we get these situations. We had one recently in San Diego. I'm thinking about live streaming one.
A jinn, a live jinn. How often do you see this?
It depends, right? I mean, I don't know if I want to do it. I think it's also good because a lot of people, they have kind of like a weakness in their iman about this issue of jinn. But when you see stuff live, like this is not stuff you can fake. This is not like, this is like out in the countryside. And this girl, I'm not done with the story, man. She took
Imagine the clips.
Took a bite out of it, started chewing and like broke it. I was like, whoa, like this. I told the sheikh, I was like, man, this is real, right? This is not a joke, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, that's jinn, And,
Imagine watching him take a bite out of a bone.
no, and then he was taking dung, like cow dung, eating it straight like that.
That's nasty.
I'm telling you, man, it's nothing to play with, right?
That's nasty.
So the sheikh started reading Quran on her. And the thing with jinn is, jinn are not allowed to interfere in our world.
Yeah.
Just like we're not supposed to interfere in their world. They have their world, we have our world, they do their thing, we do our thing. There's Muslim jinn, there's Kafir jinn, right? But Muslim jinn doesn't mess with them. And we don't mess with them, right? But people who are like actual, like I'm not talking about like sleight of hand magicians, I mean like Haiti and voodoo magicians, right? Those people try to indulge in the jinn world. The bad people shouldn't be doing that, right? And just like that, the bad jinn, they indulge in our world. So when they hear the Quran, it affects them, they don't like it, right? So she started getting upset. We started reading Quran. This girl was 100 pounds, like 5 foot nothing, and she started getting crazy, right? She was, So her brothers and her family started holding her. She was tossing people across the room. telling you,
push
bro.
this is on
It's like
video.
serious, dude. It's serious.
I'm not
It's
joking.
It's crazy. Like it's crazy. To
I mean, I'm telling you, like we just had
Oh, that's some scary movie shit. I'm good on that.
see, but the crazy
I don't
thing
need to
is,
see that.
it's not even a movie.
I know.
It's a real stuff. Like I'm never scared of horror movies or anything.
Yeah.
But this stuff freaks me out.
Yeah, that's freaky.
And,
I like that.
and we started reading Quran. We started like moving all around, shaking, yelling, screaming, and then it took a few hours.
Did you read a specific verse from the Quran?
No. There are particular verses, but all of the Quran works.
Okay.
And we were just reading, and it was not just the Shaykh, like other people reading Quran as well. We didn't touch her and things, only her family was with her and stuff. After a few hours, she just fell down. Just collapsed. We walked out, and a few days later, her family contacted us. She's perfectly fine.
Never any issue again after that.
Never an issue. I mean, not that I know of. I left. She got married.
She got married?
Got married.
Oh,
You wouldn't want to marry that
hell
one.
no. Girl, no.
But no, but this is the thing. I mean, these are things science cannot,
Yeah.
These things that people don't understand. Right? But just because we don't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And, I mean, there's another story me and SNEAK0 talked about it. That was in San Diego. Some of our brothers right now, they were dealing with a situation, right? In San Diego.
Are you comfortable with telling that story?
Should I not say?
Oh, that's fine. It's not like.
I wasn't there, but I don't talk
But
about
guys,
that.
but guys were here.
Karab. Habibi, Abu Ibrahim, you guys want to tell that recent Jinn story with Karab?
We gotta deal with this sometimes, you know.
So one of the brothers asked a question. There was a guy that was unfortunately afflicted with like jinn possession. So one of the brothers, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from him.
By the way, just a disclaimer, two of those brothers were here.
Two of them are here, alhamdulillah. Two of them are not. But what happened was, subhanallah, this brother never had experience with dealing with this situation. And it's not something easy. Like we know in Islam we do our adhkar and that protects us. But if you wear a vest and you get shot with a shotgun, you're going to have a bruise at least, if not a few broken ribs. So I advised him not to do it, but he said, no, I read my dua, I'm good.
It's the brother in the white at the end of the table.
Yeah. Some brother, Allahu A'lam who he is. But anyway, he went to this guy and he started reciting on him, and the guy started like doing weird facial expressions and like he passed down and moving his hands. So he got like agitated, and then subhanallah he decided to go to him at like 12 o'clock at night. For some reason, midnight, I guess he's trying to like.
When I'm not in San Diego, that's the kind of stuff that happens.
So he got so freaked out that the guy was on a revolving chair. He turned him and he just stood behind him and put his hand on his head and started reciting.
Hey, why'd you get behind him though?
So the guy literally called me, and he's as if he saw a ghost, saying that my hand was on the guy's head, and I was reciting, and you know that feeling you get if like your wife is pregnant and she kicks, the baby kicks, and you feel it in your hand? He said, I felt that with my hand on the guy's head. I said, what'd you do? He said, I don't know, I just ran out of the house.
Ask the brother himself, what did it feel like?
Maybe, you know.
Like, so where was your hand? Where was your hand?
On his head.
Like that, like touching. They touch him.
And you felt like a literal,
I have oil.
and you felt like a kick in your hand.
Yeah. Something like.
From the skull.
Yeah, from the skull. Like there is no skull yet.
And he's becoming a doctor. It's not like he doesn't know his medical.
The skull is gone. Like the skull, I'm like, that's what I thought. Like later, I'm like, hold on, how can they kick and there's a skull? You know, there is something like very strong. Yeah, it's like there is no skull. It's something that's.
So subhanAllah, a few days later, we brought someone that was much more knowledgeable, two brothers that were Quran memorizers, and then I went along and we read on the brother, and alhamdulillah we spent a while reading on him, and then we, all three of us, so there was three of us plus our brother Karrar here, and the guy that we were reciting on. We left the house, I went down to put my slippers on, and then the guy next to me, the sheikh that was with us, saw something and said, "A'udhu billahi shaitan rajim," and stepped back. Now at this point, all three of us were outside, and subhanallah, yani, he got afraid and went back, and we hear the door slam and lock. So the guy that brought us to read on his friend threw us to whatever we said "A'udhu billahi shaitan rajim" from, and locked the door on us and the owner of the house. And it turned out to be the neighbor's dog that was more afraid of us than we were of it. But alhamdulillah. So I guess moral of the story is,
Read your Quran, man. Don't mess around,
don't
bro.
be anta.
See, that's the thing. A lot of things people don't realize that some of the homeless people you see, some of them are drug addicts, some of them have mental health issues, but some of them may have been dealing with jinn issues. When we work in the med device industry, sometimes we'd have people that would come in to the hospitals and they couldn't be diagnosed. Right? They don't know what's wrong with them mentally. They no bipolar, no schizophrenia. They do all the tests.
I feel like that's pretty frequent, right?
It is. But a lot of those are dealing with jinn.
What do drugs do if you have jinn? Did they like
See,
put?
anything that's sinful attracts his jinn. Like drinking a lot, drugs.
They're called spirits for a reason.
Spiritual version, yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, even if you look at the word lunatic, it comes from the word lunar because the moon has effects, right? You don't think about these things. And Surah Falaq talks about this. I did a tafsir of Quran where we explained this. But that's the thing. Alcohol, losing control, doing drugs, these things attract jinn. Doesn't mean that every time a jinn's going to come to you, right? Just like you shake hands with somebody who's sick, germs do come, but doesn't mean you're going to sick every time. But you let down your guard. When you let down your guard, it's possible the jinn will affect you.
I have a question. Is crypto haram? Is crypto haram? Because it's up a lot today. We're making good money.
Okay, I will tell you something very important. These things that happen in recent times, we call them in Sharia nawazil. Nawazil means recent things that need recent rulings from the scholars that are present today. And in order for you to get a recent ruling for something that didn't exist at the time of the Prophet, you use the Islamic text and you derive rulings from the Islamic text, and then you give a ruling based on that. And sometimes with these nawazil, you end up having a disagreement between the scholars regarding the ruling pertaining to a certain thing. So crypto is one of these issues because it's not regulated and all of these things, right? And a lot of people use it for drugs, use it to scam people, use it in the wrong ways. There are scholars who say it's not permissible for that, not necessarily because the currency itself is problematic. Because by the way, dealing, for example, with the dollar is something which is recent as well.
You can buy drugs with the dollar too.
Yeah, and I'm saying, and it's something recent as well, right? It's not something that was there from the beginning. But these scholars would say, for example, the difference is this is regulated, for example, right? It's adopted by the government.
Zionists who control the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, that's also an argument. So that's what I'm saying. There's two arguments, there's two sides to every story.
There's a couple of things, right? Like he said, in Islam, we don't just give willy-nilly rulings, right?
Yeah.
So in the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, people used to use gold, right? Or silver. Dinar is gold, dirham is silver. And that has a value in itself. So that's a proper currency, trading with gold and silver. Even if you take small amounts like you use for like dollars and stuff, you could do it. That's the best way. Today we use a currency that's not backed by gold. So that dollar in your pocket really has no meaning. Right. Argentina, for example, Venezuela, Germany after World War II, Iraq after the war, their money became useless.
It's backed by the banks that are owned by Zionists.
But not just that. In the old days, I think it was before Ford, they used to be backed by gold.
Why are you laughing? It's true, bro. The Federal Reserve was made in 1917 after like.
I'm just saying, like, you always say it every time.
Is it not?
You're gonna get it extreme canceled, bro. Come on. So,
Wait, do I say it too much? Is that what you're laughing?
No, that's good. That's good.
you don't say it enough, man. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So back in the days, currency was backed by gold. So the amount Fort Knox, why was Fort Knox important? That's what the dollar was based on. But it isn't anymore. So now even that backing by gold is just a promissory note, right? It really means nothing. Tomorrow, if the government goes bankrupt, you could wipe yours with it, So that's why we believe that gold and silver, this is the way to trade. Now, with crypto is another thing. We, as people who research, when scholars ask us, because scholars, they sit there and like, they're high level people. Us who tech people, they ask us, okay, how does it work? And we're like, blockchain, and they're like, what does that mean? Well, there's a lot of computers, and they, and then they're like, well, who started it? Don't know. Well, who controls it?
I mean,
Don't know.
based off that logic, it seems like the U.S. dollar would be way more haram.
So this is what I'm going to say: is to me, cryptocurrency is no different than paper currencies, right? Neither one of them is ideal, right? But I don't see any problem with using it because I don't see any reason.
Crypto's not ideal?
It's not, because ideally, crypto has no value. Right? Let's say you buy $50,000 worth of, or $100,000 worth of crypto, and tomorrow it goes down to 15 grand.
But doesn't everything just have the value that we attribute to it?
Again, but for gold is used in, for example, medical devices.
Right. Well, which country uses the gold standard still?
Again, so that's the ideal. Because it's not used, I would say crypto is no different than paper.
So it's not haram.
I don't see it haram.
Alright. What are we investing in?
All in on Doge.
All in on Doge.
All in on Doge. I'm joking, no. Especially after spending time with these brothers during Ramadan, I'm like, should I just leave this behind and focus completely on the deen? Because to do well in this world, like, admittedly, you have to. There's a lot of haram things you have to do. Like, if you want to be number one, you have to. Like, they want. I'll tell you what they want right now. And the people like that are raging in the chat, they want girl content. They want to see you flirt with girls. They want to see you scream like an idiot. They want to see you get in fights. They want to see you crash out. It's funny if you lose your mind.
What you say? I'm just kidding.
The views went up.
I know exactly the streamer. Like, I've been streaming, so I know exactly the streamer. IRL streaming is definitely different.
But I'll tell you something. When you say to do well in life, what does it mean to do well?
To do well in streaming,
Right.
which is
I'm
different.
saying, what does it mean, right? Like I'm saying is, right now, you guys, what you're streaming, you're doing better than you've ever done in your life. Why? Because you're streaming something that's going to better people. You're streaming something that will be a reward for you in the hereafter. You're streaming something that will make a positive change in people's lives. When you stream and you get 10 million people's lives, but you're streaming running after prostitutes, what good are you doing? What's that going to help you when you die? The next day, you're going to be empty. Right? I'll tell you, when people say, oh, how could you give up? Like, I used to be in the gangster world. Like, if you guys look at my story, right? People always like, oh, didn't you look back? I never look back. Because what is that life? Drugs, money, fame, whatever. I've seen my friends buried, and none of them took any of it with them, right? Sooner or later, all of us sitting here are going to die, and that's not a morbid
No,
thought.
I'm not gonna die.
كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Allah says in the Quran, every soul shall taste death. You know how everybody's tried to avoid this. The pharaohs, they wanted to get man live forever. Michael Jackson wanted to get frozen, live forever. They're all dead, bro. That's the reality. But that's not a morbid thought. That's not depressing. As a Muslim, I look forward to it. Whenever I die and go back to my Creator, I'm happy. Right? I mean, this life is temporary. This life you get sick, you know. So if you want to be successful as a streamer, as an actor, as an athlete, as a human being, the question you have to ask yourself is, what will that get you? Right? Like, if you have $1 billion, but you're depressed, taking drugs, and not able to sleep, and drunk, and committing suicide, that's not, you didn't make it, you're not number one, you're zero. Right?
Yeah, you have to actually know what is success.
What is success?
What is success?
And the same verse that the Shaykh quoted says that, you know, it says, كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Every soul shall taste it. وإنما توفون أجوركم يوم القيامة. You will get your reward on the day of judgment, right? فمن زحزح عن النار وأدخل الجنة. Whoever is shaken away, like barely shaken away from the fire and admitted into paradise, فقد فاز. He won. This is the real success. This is the real winning. You know, you say you want to be number one. I want to be number one, but not in this life.
I want to
Like,
be in Jannah al-Firdaus.
exactly.
That's number
In
one.
Jannah, there is number 1 and 2 and 3 as well. Just like you want to be number 1 here. The question is, are you going to be number 1 in paradise, or are you going to be in the lowest level? Which level are you
Imagine
going
being
to?
number one in both. It'd be pretty fire.
Well, I don't mean number one in this.
But can you? Is the question.
Yeah.
If being number
You
1 in
can.
here means you're going to give up number 1 there, that's the question to think about.
If you make your intention for Allah, Allah will give you whatever is good for you.
But how do you not get bored, brother?
I understand.
Like, that's my
I'm
question.
gonna tell you, I was super bored when I quit streaming, because I was streaming. Like, you can, I don't know, ask the people that used to watch me. Literally 8 to 15 hours a day.
Well, that's
I mean, yeah,
that's
that's what
boring.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I do 70 a month.
Okay.
That's like.
My biggest month, how long I streamed, was 350 hours.
Oh, that's stupid. Yeah, well, that's not stupid, but that's like that's incredible.
much is too
I didn't even know there were that many hours in a month. Like, that's,
It's like 12 and a half hours average a day. However, like, I filled those things with, like, okay, I like playing soccer. I was always playing soccer. Playing soccer, going to university, going to the masjid, going to the mosque, and giving dawah.
And go to the gym.
Go, no, I just do push-ups and soccer.
That's a lot of
So you just
push-ups.
So he does work out, you know.
You just 400 push-ups all day.
That's basically actually. But
Fortnite
what
push.
I would say is like
Bruh.
you don't have to quit streaming. What you're streaming right now is really good. In this, if you're doing it with the right intention for the sake of Allah, you're literally getting rewarded in this life from your stream and in the next. So you can keep streaming.
Islam's not one of those like religions like Catholic priests where you're like, oh, you can't never get married, you can only get little boys and that kind of stuff. We're not doing that,
God.
I'm saying we're not. Wrong, right? I'm saying is
My high school was actually one of the. I went to Boston College High School. That was like the school where that whole scandal.
It happened in
was.
my school too. I went to Catholic school growing up. It happened to my
Yeah,
school.
in like the 70s
Sorry,
and
guys.
80s.
I'm kidding.
I had to go to the
No,
bathroom
not me.
twice.
No, not me. Not me. No.
It wasn't my first time
I'm
in the
really
bathroom.
worried about you.
It was everyone but me.
It's all right. It's the past, bro. Let it go. Don't worry about it.
bro,
Anyway. But what I'm saying
Nico
in
just watched.
Islam, you're not bored. Look, get married, right? Have a wife. If that's not enough, get a second. Don't worry about it. Right? Get a third, fourth. Like have kids. Go study. Like I tell you, man, if everybody would leave me alone, just in my library with some tea, I would be the happiest man in the world, man. I'd just be like, I would never get bored in my life. I have spent, like regularly, I used to go to my library at night and my wife would be like, it's bedtime. I'd be like, I'll be right there. And 5 a.m. I'm still in the library, not even realizing. So I'm like, yeah.
Shaykh, wallah, wallahi.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
How you doing?
Very nice to meet you.
Jazakallah khair. I'm the least known person here, man. Meet the famous guys.
Shaykh, man, that's crazy, man. Brother, I see you a lot on the television, man, on Instagram and everything, man.
Barakallah feek.
You know, man, mashallah, you're doing a good thing, man. I like your arguments, I like your debates.
Alhamdulillah. May Allah bless it. Allah increase it and Allah accept it from us.
I have a question, like a more serious question. And
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
yeah, but one of the biggest criticisms people have of Islam is like the oppression of women in the Middle East and stuff like that. Like, well, they can't do anything. At least in America, they have the choice. Stuff like that. What do you say to that?
What does that mean? See, this is just such a xenophobic, foolish comment. In Saudi Arabia, many women, we got Saudi brothers here. Oh, sorry. We get banned? We're gonna say it again. So,
Roma, we're not gonna get banned.
so the thing is that Saudi Arabia, many women own businesses. You go to Emirat, you go to Qatar, you go to Kuwait, women are free, they go out. Just because they're not boring themselves for money like the West, doesn't mean they're oppressed. Sorry for my language. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just gonna have to keep it real a little bit, right? I tell you, somebody who's lived in Pakistan, somebody who's lived in the UAE, somebody who's lived in the US all my life, I can without a doubt say women here are more oppressed than anywhere else in the world that I've seen. Right?
Is it because that they're a slave to money, and then the amount of programming?
It's money. Women are judged by their appearance, their depression, and their eating disorders. Why? Because if your measurements aren't 34, 20, whatever, 36, then you're no good, right?
Yeah.
And even if we don't say that, that's what Barbie and all those things represent. So women are constantly under this pressure. Women here get divorced more than
They're also, what's crazy is women here are also pressured into thinking that being modest and being a virgin is bad. It's
Exactly.
crazy. Like,
So when they say women in the Middle East are oppressed, what does that mean? Just because they dress modestly, just because they're not out there for you to gawk at and to use in wrong ways.
it's not a matter of, they say that they're forced to. It's not a matter of that they do.
If they were forced, when they come to the U.S., why do Muslim sisters still cover? We're in New York, how many hijabs and niqab? My wife lives here, she wears niqab. So many revert sisters that have become Muslim, they cover from head to toe. They go to the UK, mashallah, go to Birmingham, Bradford, London, you see, who's forced?
We were just talking to Christian in the car who has his.
I mean, in Saudi Arabia, even there's no law right now. Any woman can wear whatever she wants, and you still see the majority of their women covered. Why? Because that's an honor for them, right? This idea that Muslim women are oppressed is just a xenophobic foolishness idea, right? You go to, you've been to UAE, right? Were the women oppressed?
No.
Right? There were women that weren't wearing.
I think the biggest surprise is if you talk to a niqab, because a lot of them they think that you can't speak to them. Well, if you actually have a conversation like through friends or something like that, a lot of them they have a lot of pride in the niqab, and they talk about their experiences and how the rest of the world reacts to the way they dress, and it's something that they're extremely happy to wear. And also, it's almost like they have more independence because they don't have to be outwardly judged for their beauty all the time.
Exactly.
The question is like, okay, when you say oppressed, you're saying women are going to be free when they are naked and all of these things, right? That's
actually what they believe. They're laughing.
I know.
That's what it is.
No, I know. But I agree. That's why. I'm
So the question is, when they are naked here, why are they the most depressed ever? Why do you have the biggest study that was done since the 1970s, Blanche Flower and Oswald, showing the depression of women is increasing since feminism? They're taking the biggest amount of pills. They could, over 100,000 women were actually in that study, you know. And they're all Western women. They're saying the U.S. and Europe. Yeah, we're not talking here about, you know, why are they the most domestically abused women according to UN studies, right? Women abused everywhere, every day is the name of the study, the title of the study. You know?
Rape rates in the world.
So is
in
this
the U.S.
The U.S. I mean, the last I read was every 11 seconds. I'm sure it's even worse than that right now.
So we're happy with our oppression. You stay with your freedom and nakedness.
I got a question for chat.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna address
There was
chat
another
directly.
one that just happened.
All right, I want to ask this: what about Muslim women in France, French Muslim women that want to go to school wearing a hijab? Their choice. Nobody's forcing them, and the French government is not allowing it. They're forcing them not to wear hijab. When a Muslim woman wants to walk on the street, just minding her own business, covering herself to be modest, and the French government doesn't allow it, they arrest them, they ticket them, they made it illegal. How is that not oppression? Chat.
Yeah. Think about this.
Chat.
No, it's you see, in the end, they say this for the pleasure of the man. When the woman is covered, look, the woman is covered, is it good for the men or not? They say oppressed by the men. This is the argument. Muslim women are oppressed by the men. But are the men more happy when they see women naked or women covered?
I was just about to mention that.
khalas,
The only people that win when women are half naked is the guys that get to see them.
That's it.
That's it.
So why would we oppress them opposite to our desires as men? That makes zero sense. If you want to oppress, you're going to take more clothes.
Make
And this
them,
is
make them all wear nothing. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
That's a really good point. Yeah.
And if you're a Christian, I got a question. In the Bible, it's a question, bro. What? In the Bible, in the New Testament,
trigger warning.
there is the hijab, right?
Sorry, Jacosta.
Christian women are supposed to cover, especially when
It says that in the Bible.
After every
yes.
discussion, this guy is insincere.
Wait, you know, hold on.
No, I didn't know. I just saw it. I just saw your. This is your editor, right? I don't know. I just saw him in Love Speech, right?
Who? Do you know his name?
You said his name is Jacosta or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Jacosta.
After every Muslim that comes in your stream, he always is the same comment. This guy is deceptive, is insincere. It's like he's the most. It's always copy paste the same. It's like as if it's always the same person that comes in the stream. So I don't know why.
I noticed a pattern with Christians who watch a lot of this content is that they almost believe in everything that Islam preaches, but their ego and arrogance probably prevents them from taking the shahada because like, oh, I don't want to let you win. Because they hear the dawah, they're like, oh, you think you're like smarter than me or something like that. So they reject the Trinity.
Also a
they
race thing.
reject a lot of the problems that Christianity has, but they're like, but I'm not Muslim. They even say like, I don't say inshallah, I say God willing. I don't say mashallah, I say thank you God. Like they'll adopt all the practices and westernize it and then apply it to Christianity. And then they find out that they don't even agree with 99% of Christians. They're like, okay, I don't believe Jesus is God. I don't believe in, you know, the freedom that women have. I don't believe that we should be drinking. I don't think we should be in a drunken state. But they don't say that they're Muslim.
Yeah, they want Islam, but they want a white Islam essentially.
That's why they get so upset about Sonny.
Yeah. The thing is, it's rooted. It's really.
What about Sonny?
Because he's a white Muslim.
Yeah, it's really rooted in racism. You know, it's deeply rooted in racism. Essentially, and Islam. You know, Islam has no race, right? You've seen this when you went to Mecca.
Yeah.
Every single nationality out there in the world is Muslim, right? Islam has no race. There's no such. Islam has a specific race. It doesn't exist. 80% of Muslims are non-Arab, for example, right? Like majority of Muslims are non-Arabs. They're every different race, right? The thing is, this stems from racism and a sense of pride and arrogance. And you say you wanna look. I don't want to adopt an unfamiliar culture to me. Essentially, that's how he's thinking, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's true, even if it's better, even if it's beneficial. That's why Allah says in the Quran that سأصرف عن آياتي, I will turn away from my signs those who are arrogant upon the earth without right. So it's about arrogance, right? It's a consistency theme in the Quran. And if they see every sign, they will not adopt it. And if they see the way of truth, they will not adopt it as a way. So even if signs are there, even if they agree, they say that makes sense, that is true, they're not going to adopt it because it's a sense of pride and arrogance. It's not about truth, right? And a lot of the people actually accept Islam, they say this. They say, I didn't want to be, you know what, leave my culture, leave behind the idea that I'm a white person, I'm born Catholic, I'm born Christian. But okay, is it true or not? Is it beneficial or not? You're admitting yourself. You want to adopt the values of Islam, but you don't want Islam.
And that's such a funny thing because Islamically we believe that Allah sent a prophet to every nation. So that means there were white prophets, there were black prophets, there were Asian prophets. Like, this is the religion that really doesn't belong to any one race. Arabs, like you mentioned, around 14% of the Ummah. You see large chunks of the Muslim are white. You go to Bosnia, you go to Albania, you go to the Caucasus Mountains, you go to those areas, you go to Afghanistan, you go to the northern parts. Right?
water, please?
What does that have to do with anything?
Thank you, bro.
Whether it's white, black, Mexican, what does that matter? Truth is truth, falsehood is falsehood. That's all that is, right? But pride messes you up.
But the question is this, right? You're a Christian, and you're very interested in being white and all of that, right? What race was Jesus? What race is your God? I'm not going to say even your prophet because you don't believe Jesus. They don't believe. They believe it's God.
What race is your?
That's it. It's simple, right? You might say something wrong. That's it. What race is the God that you believe in? If the God that you believe in was Middle Eastern, and you're adopting that religion and following it, and then all of a sudden I don't want to change my white culture, but was Jesus white?
Yeah. Imagine if God was Indian.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a rare experience. These are Pashtuns, we're Pashtuns. And we have like extreme idea of hospitality. So when they try to pay, we're gonna pay for them. Okay. And they're gonna fight us. You say, you're my secret weapon. Get the card ready. Get the card ready.
What do you want me to do?
Let's just be ready.
I thought it was on the house.
No, for us, not for these. Okay, wait, zoom.
Farm him. We can't even hear it.
You're gonna see now the fight for hospitality. Yeah.
This is how it is everywhere in Saudi Arabia, all over the Middle East, brother.
Like everyone just
It
pays.
literally gets annoying. Like I'm trying to pay, and they're like pushing you out of the way. Like, bro, like let me. Like I'm getting irritated. Like, bro, let me pay.
Let's just get out of here. Yeah.
What happened? We win.
You know what happened? The owner of the restaurant said,
Yeah.
neither one of you paid. Free.
They're saying Jesus is Jewish, which isn't an ethnicity. So that means if you believe in that, that means God's a Jew, bro. That means God spins a dreidel and has tassels on his
Who's
knees.
saying Jewish is an ethnicity?
It is.
You mean they are okay? They're called the children of Israel in reality. If you're saying Jewish is the children of Judah, is that what you're trying to say? How is that an ethnicity? From what sense? We treat it as Muslims, for example. We will say they are the children of Israel, meaning the 12 tribes,
Yeah.
the children of
I guess
Jacob.
it's an ethnicity now.
Yeah,
But it didn't.
So Jewish is more of a religion adopting the teachings of Moses, what he believed in, the commands, 613 laws, etc. But they are the children of Israel.
But yeah, after the descendants, they are an ethnicity.
But
The point he's making is that if the Christians are saying Jesus was Jewish, then they mean that
how does that help them?
But that's the point. That means their
That's what I'm
God
pointing
Jewish,
out.
right? Their God wears a yarmulke. Their God
Their God
has
eats
a-
bagels.
He's worried about his bank account. So that's not the way that I wouldn't believe that. Like I don't
Charging
believe
you
that.
interest rates and
I
all
believe.
of that.
I believe.
The funniest thing is we were walking in New York City yesterday, and there was a Jewish guy handing out like good deeds cards, and it was a good deed credit card.
So you swipe it and your bank account becomes empty. Good deed for helping them out. No, but what I'm saying is, Jesus by ethnicity was from the children of Israel. We agree, but that's not Caucasian. That's not white, right?
Yeah.
So that's not a white culture to begin with. Jesus was a Semitic person. I mean, he would have brown, bronze type of skin. But what does that even matter? Look, white, black, Chinese, it doesn't matter. Truth is truth. Falsehood is falsehood. That's it, right? If somebody comes to me, like these are people from my own tribe, my own area, right?
Yeah.
If they say something right, I'm going to say it's right. If they say something wrong, I'm going to say it's wrong. That's how it should be, right? In Islam, we have the idea, the Prophet, peace be upon him, told us there is no fadl, there is no virtue of the Arab over the non-Arab, or the white over the black. Just whoever is more pious is closer to God. Like, how beautiful is that?
But every woman who prays or prophesies or prophecies, but every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head, for that is one and the same as if her head were shaved. So that's basically saying if her okay. For if a woman is not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it is shameful for a woman to be shorn or shaved, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, since he is the image of glory of God, but woman is the glory of man. For man is not from woman, but woman from man. Nor was man created for the woman, but woman for the man. For this reason, the woman ought to have a symbol of authority on her head because of the angels.
So this is in the New Testament.
Cooking,
This is in the Bible, right? I'm just saying, like, look, this is with respect. All I'm doing is reading the Bible, or you are actually, right? So I'm just wondering, for chat, you know, if you're Christian and this is in your Bible, you just read it. And again, you can go to, the Bible yourself, in 1 Corinthians, and read it yourself. 11,
7, 6 and 7.
6, 7, right? Onwards. What? Either you should cover your head, or have it shaved according to the Bible, or say you don't believe in the Bible.
Does Islam and Christianity agree that it goes God, man, woman, children?
I mean, that seems kind of a strange dynamic for us. We do believe that God, Allah, is the most high, greatest, right?
Of course.
We do believe the family has a structure, right? Meaning the husband is the head of the household. You know, the wife is there to be a great comfort for the husband. What we in Arabic say tarbiyah. How do you translate tarbiyah?
Raising someone.
Nurturing the household and children,
Making
right?
the house a home, yeah.
Making the house a home. That is the job of a woman. And the job of the husband is to lead the household, right? To be a breadwinner, to be the moral authority at home, to guide the family, to stop evil and so on. And children to be respectful to their parents and obedient and be, a comfort for them. Like that's true. But we don't really graph it like that,
Yeah.
A woman's place in society, to me, is probably the most important. But it's not the place that Western society wants to push her into. Right? A woman's place is what makes the house a home, right? If we had the family structure, in my opinion, I'm not saying I'm an authority on this. If the family structure was better, I don't think we'd have all these school shootings. Like where we're from, we have more guns per capita than anywhere in the world. The Pashtun area, we love guns. But we don't have school shootings. We don't have random shootings. We don't have, these kinds of things. Why? Because there's a family structure, mother, father, society, laws. Sometimes we do go at it with each other. I'm not saying we don't, but there's a reason. But this kind of random shootings, I think a big part of that is the breakdown in the family structure.
Yeah.
And I think they see too many naked girls on the internet, but they can't really in real life, so they just get frustrated.
That is true.
Someone's dying.
And that's a good point. If you look at the porn industry, what they do is they try to put a false image out there, right? Those women don't actually look like that when they wake up in the morning next to you, right? This is glossed and photoshopped and airsprayed and makeup and painted and rolled and glamorized. And then young guys who see this false image and don't have that in their real life, then they just bring frustration.
Yeah.
Right? And that frustration cannot be taken out like that, right? So then people do have breakdowns, people do stupid stuff, they go off the deep end. In Islam, imagine if we lived in a society where women were covered, right? Where we didn't have that. But your wife and you can be birthday suit naked at home with each other. Enjoy yourself with your wife. She should dress up for you, you look good for her. Between you guys, love it. But outside, if you didn't have all this false imagery, how much healthier would society be?
I thought I would be way healthier. Yeah.
Right? Imagine a society where you don't have drunk driving. How many people, I got friends back in the days that got killed because some stupid guy said, I'm not drunk, got in the car and hit somebody.
I have family who's died to drunk drivers too. It's really sad.
Think about that, right? Think about that. Imagine in Islam, when we don't have that, how much better would society be? Right?
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, someone like me, I love the chase. So even you thinking, I'd rather the girl be covered, at least in the beginning.
So once you're married, no cover, bro. Then
That's the ultimate chase, is getting a girl to marry you, and then finally on the night of the nikah, she takes
And you're the only one.
Good intentions here.
I would not last 5 seconds.
Thinking good of your friends.
Yeah, of course.
level unlocked.
Right. But think about this. The girls at the club and stuff like that, that's the easiest chase ever.
Yeah.
It's like catching a
Sometimes
mouse.
like in the bathroom, we didn't have to leave the club.
Yeah, but then the problem. No. But then the problem is that when 30 others won the same prize before you that night, what'd you win?
Chlamydia.
Right? Imagine if Islam was in our society, we wouldn't have a problem with AIDS.
Yeah.
AIDS spreads through 3 major ways:
Bumble clots.
casual intercourse,
All the bumbles.
homosexuality, and shared needles and drugs.
Yeah,
Right? Islam forbids all of that.
There's something interesting that I saw, and I want to comment on this very, very quickly, inshallah. Because we need to go pray soon, yeah?
Maghrib, right?
Yeah, we need to go pray soon. Give it 10 minutes and we can go. I was sent a clip by someone from your stream. There's a Jewish guy who I think spoke with Shaykh Uthman.
Gary.
Gary
Numerology.
That guy married a Muslim.
Yeah. And he didn't realize this, and he was advocating for Islam.
And he's a Jewish person, right? And this is the thing. Yeah.
He didn't know. No, we had a conversation.
Married a girl, he didn't know she was Muslim.
No, let me explain. He didn't know that a non-Muslim is not supposed to marry a Muslim woman. A Muslim man can marry a Jew or a Christian.
His wife didn't know.
You can marry a Christian girl,
Yes.
but she can't marry a Muslim man.
No.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
But she has to convert if you're gonna marry her.
there is two things we can see here.
No.
She can believe in what she wants.
She could be Christian, she could be Jewish, as long as she's chaste, like she's not out sleeping around and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And, I mean,
Pious
like,
woman.
Pious woman, right?
There is
But-
two things. There is two things that we want to highlight here. Right? First, you see a Jewish person. Why is he choosing a Muslim woman?
Because they're the best.
Because he knows.
Okay, so the first thing is, even non-Muslims who are Jewish in this case are looking for our women, essentially, our Muslim women, that they pretend are the most oppressed, essentially, when they do it, their talking points. But they end up desiring them and wanting to marry them. That's the first point I want to highlight, right? Because they know these women are pure women. Muslim women are pure women, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is, in Islam, there is no such thing as marriage between a Muslim woman and any non-Muslim. We don't consider this a marriage contract. So we don't consider her a wife. The children of that person are not attributed to the father. From an Islamic point of view, they're only attributed to the mother. And I would say, as I said, it's not the job of him to know, it's the job of her to know. She should know as a Muslim woman, as well as many other Muslim women. And that's why I'm mentioning this point. There's no such thing as a Muslim woman marrying a non-Muslim woman. And this is not to do with race. This is why we need to highlight this. Because in Islam, there's every race, which is what we were saying.
It's a religious thing.
Exactly. So you can be white, you can be black, you can be orange, you can be a potato, we don't care. As long as you accept
I don't
Islam.
know about the potato part.
As long as you accept Islam, you're allowed to marry the Muslim woman. But if you're not a Muslim, you're not allowed to marry the Muslim woman. It's as simple as that. This is our religion, right? So I would send actually a message to that woman. If this message can ever reach her, to rethink her life. To rethink, honestly, I'll straight away I'll put it straight
Well, I
forward,
mean, they
right?
do have a good marriage, and they have they have children and everything.
Good marriage if the father is going to raise the children, taking them to hellfire. Him applying the rules of falsehood in his household. How is that good marriage?
It's better compared to most marriages in the West. I love a lot of relationships.
Why do we use the West as a standard? We're Muslims.
You just came real with it.
Yeah, I like the guy though, isn't it?
Well, that's why that's a different story. You know?
Wait, so what if she
I don't
wants
know
to marry
him.
someone
I'll just
who's-
say how it is. You know.
or she can't? What if she wants to marry someone like the girl can't marry a Muslim man,
No, the girl can't marry non-Muslim
a
men.
non-Muslim?
A Muslim woman.
What if she
cannot
wants
marry
to? What if she fell in love with a Christian guy?
He would have to
Then she gets
convert.
takfir.
He would have to convert,
No, it's like
or she would have to leave.
No. See, the thing is, right?
It's a major sin, but we
So,
don't
for example, Christians today, they drink,
Yeah,
right?
Muslim women they cheat on.
Muslims do not
Islam.
cheat. Yeah, no. A good Muslim woman, alhamdulillah, is the purest, most loyal woman you will find,
Yeah,
right? What I'm saying is, we're talking about practicing Muslims, right? I'm not talking about somebody who's out the way. So if you had a daughter, right, and she's a good Muslim girl, she prays, she fasts, right?
Yeah.
And then she says, I want to marry this guy, and he hits the club and drinks. Like, I can't allow that, right? That's exactly. Even if a Muslim comes to marry my daughter, because he has the same code, which you should be living by, even then I'm gonna be like, yo, you pray, you fast, like you on the deen, because we need to make sure that my daughter's taken care of properly, Islamically, and my grandkids and their grandkids are raised in a good environment, right?
Yeah.
So now if a woman is not Muslim, let's say she's Christian and she's chaste, she's good, and a Muslim man marries her, first thing is, inshallah, by seeing his leadership and his good qualities, she'll become Muslim. If not, at least he can say, okay, this is how the household's going to be, no alcohol, no pork, no going out and partying at night, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he runs it right. But if a woman marries a dude who, in his religion and his mindset, getting drunk all night isn't a problem, right? That's how most people live. Then how's that woman going to keep that household, right? So for the future, see, like Gary, how long have you been married?
20 years, something like
Yeah, about 20 years.
20 years, right? Does he have kids?
Yeah.
So what do his kids do? Do they go and check people's numerology, or do they go and play
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the problem, right?
What's new? They check people's what?
He believes in numbers.
He believes in numbers.
If you're born on this day of the year, then they do exist, but he believes that numbers decide your fate. Like if you're born on the 8th day, then you're gonna have money. If you're born on the 7th day, then you're loyal. If you're born on the 4th,
What's 4?
4 is master builder.
No, I thought you were gonna say something different. I was gonna be like, I got that one.
Oh wait, what? No, but this is like, the Coney Island. They got Coney Island out here. Those guys trying to take your money by reading cards, all that nonsense.
Tarot reading.
reading.
Yeah,
This is all that numerology is nonsense. Alhamdulillah is here. Another brother, mashallah, who's studying. Some Muslim was saying that you can use numbers to predict the future. What do you think?
Suleiman Ahmed.
We would say,
Another friend of mine.
you know,
He's a friend of mine. He's a good guy.
interestingly enough, SNEAK0 was sitting down. We were talking about the classes of Aqidah. We're talking about believing in Allah. And we're talking about what constitutes even Sonny was there as well, right? What constitutes associating with Allah. If I say a number, which is an abstract concept, has an effect on people's life, I'm given the attributes of God, which is absolute control and dominion,
To a number.
which
Which is shirk.
is associating partners, which is what we call shirk.
The biggest sin.
Simply.
What do you think about those bitches that say that the moon? Sorry.
We know to say it because we're a different crowd, you know, we're sitting with the different crowd.
About the women when they say that the moon, because it messes with the ocean, since you have water in your body's like 70% water, the moon can affect your emotions. That's true, they say
To say something, for example, has an effect because of the environment or this or that is not the same as to say because of numbers.
So think of it this way, right?
Your fate is determined.
Think about this.
It's not the
If
same
you
thing.
go out in the sun, you can get sunburn.
Yeah.
Right? That's an effect on the sun, on the human body. We don't have an issue with that, right? The moon can have an effect on you, whatever effect it is, and studies have been done on that. We have no problem. But to say that if you're born on the 13th of August,
Oh no,
then
I
you're
don't
going to
agree
be.
with that either.
Yeah.
But I'm saying not the physical.
Gary,
like
take
the sun
that.
is a physical bird. The moon, they're saying it's like an emotional change.
No, even with the
Like when it's a full moon, you're more likely to go crazy.
Even with the moon.
But the question is why? We'll ask what is this, where's the science behind it? What kind
That's
of
what I was
radiations
asking
are
you.
there?
I didn't know if you guys had a theory on this.
We do. The thing with the moon is, the moon does have an effect. And in the Tafsir of Surah Falaq, for example, we discuss it. Even the people who do magic, they would wait for the second part of the moon phase and things like that, right? But there's also physical effect of that. If the moon, like it, has a physical effect on the waves in the ocean,
Yeah.
right? That's a physical effect. That's not a spiritual effect. Like that, we understand that, and that's the word lunatic comes from lunar. That's we get it. But that's not the same, because those are physical, scientific things that we can discuss. We can look at the effect on waves for the moon and gravity and all of that, right?
This is proof.
But the other
that you
effect
don't
is
need
where you
sin
say,
to get free.
you know, if you're walking and
Oh, this
you
right
see
here.
number 38,
Yeah. You want to say that for the camera?
Today you're gonna make
No, I was
money.
just saying this is proof that you don't need to sin to get views. You see people watching the
You know, we
entertainment,
did a funny
enjoying
thing.
it.
Yeah, good conversations.
Number one on Rumble right now.
We
Yeah.
did a funny thing with the
This is organic, too.
Went on, right? So this guy, Gary, whatever his name is,
Gary the numbers guy.
I thought it was Gary the SpongeBob's snail, but anyway, right?
What?
Whatever, right?
They got the
He
craziest
comes
people.
on and he's trying to read me, right, as a person.
Yeah.
So he tells me, what's your birthday? So I gave him a birthday that is not my actual birthday,
remember
but
this,
it
yeah.
is on my birthday. It's all right. So I gave him this birthday, and
He's like, oh, you're a loyal leader.
He's like, you've been through a life and you come on as a leader, and he's reading and he's saying it to the teeth, right? Like exactly how I am, right? Because he's seen my bio, you know, he knows what I've been through. You've been through hardship and now you've done really well in life and you're probably, and I'm like, wow, and then I'm like, that wasn't my birthday. You should have seen the look on his face.
And the thing about numerology,
That was funny, right?
like live on a debate, is like, but is that it goes back to money. Like the reason they do it is not to try to be a good person. The basis of numerology is how much money can I get.